There are estimations that corruption costs in the European Union is no less than 120 billion euros each year. And that is the equivalent of an EU annual budget. So it's a lot of money we're talking about. And that is why, all these reasons, why the Commission adopts today the first EU anti-corruption report. It gives a frank assessment on how each member state tackles corruption, how existing laws and policies work in practice, and we suggest also how each member state can step up their work against corruption. 76% of Europeans think that corruption is widespread in their country. More than half of the Europeans think that the level of corruption in their country has increased over the past years. And 1 in 12 Europeans have experienced or witnessed corruptions in the last year. 4 out of 10 European companies consider corruption to be an obstacle for doing business in the EU. In order to pull out Europe of the crisis, to put our economies in order, we need, of course, to maximize the legal economy. And one way of doing this is to attack corruption effectively. And the report will hopefully be a useful tool for all stakeholders to take national corruption policies forward. Many member states have, of course, put stronger focus on fighting corruption in recent years. New legislation has been adopted, new institutions have been set up, and there are national anti-corruption strategies in many countries. The report suggests solutions based on a careful assessment on each member state. They include, for instance, better accountability and integrity standards, control mechanisms in public authorities, dealing with conflict of interest by officials, how to address corruption at local level in state-owned companies, the effectiveness of courts, police, protection mechanisms for whistleblowers, limiting risks of bribery in foreign countries, making lobbying more transparent, and developing innovative e-tools to enhance transparency. We will now, of course, engage in a dialogue with member states, national parliaments, European parliaments, on how to follow up on these suggestions. And in 2 years' time, there will be a new anti-corruption report that will take stock on where we are and how far we moved. Of course, it takes much more than a report to eradicate corruption. But as we are finding our way out of the economic crisis, this can be a tool. We cannot afford to drag our feet. We hope that this will start a very constructive process that will spur the political will and the necessary commitments at all levels to address corruption, because the price of not acting is simply too high.